Hello, welcome to my channel. Welcome to this video. It's another sit down video. Actually, I was just thinking I really intended to do 2 videos a month at least, and I'm still on track with that, so I'm happy. But today we are taking stock. I think for the next couple of videos I will go back to lessons I must learn, because there are things I really would like to share, but then also sometimes I feel like I just need to gain a little more information before I just speak on certain things. So that's just what has been taking a bit of time, and also just my schedule is not as it was like last year at a time like this, or even before then. But I'm excited. Usually I do the taking stock posts written in written form on my personal website, but today as like this is an opportunity to do it as an audio or rather audiovisual format, and just have a bit of control as to how my prompts will be received, in terms of at least I have control over my tonal variation and stuff like that, which to me, I don't know if people around me know this, but a thing I find frustrating is just being uncertain as to the kind of tone that people read a message I sent. And most of the times I feel like if I've texted you something, in some way I'll still bring it up in conversation over a phone call or whatever, just to be clear, like, this is how I meant to say it. I wouldn't say that directly, but for me that's what I usually feel like I'm doing. Yeah, so I'm just opening up my draft. I wanted to do to write it already like as a blog post, but then I just became lazy. So as you can see, like, those are the word prompts. I had started responding a bit, but then they're still blank, so I'll just literally be doing it as we go. The words, I think at some point it's just up to you in terms of the number, but I think I'll just try to respond to as many as I can. And yes, so the first one is making decisions slower. I feel like that's where I am, that's where I have been. I realize that I do act impulsively, and that's because sometimes I do feel very emotionally charged, and that pushes me to make certain decisions. So of late, I think, or rather like as the year has started, I've really been trying to make decisions a bit slower. Would I say it's average time? Perhaps not. Could be even quicker than most people do. But for me, I'm just like, what, if I'm able to hold it out for a week, I have tried. Like, if you give me news that is just really affecting me and I just feel like I need an answer, trust me, if I've taken a week, I have really tried, because every single day it has meant that I have just been thinking about it, like literally every second that I'm not doing anything else. So yeah, I've been making decisions slower than I usually do. The next one is cooking less, honestly, and I think this is just something that has progressed over time. I just find myself not cooking as often as I perhaps did, let's say, like in 2018 or something. And I don't know, I feel like it's just culmination of things. For instance, that I would prefer to just pay for convenience and just order in and stuff like that. And I mean, now a lot of people are offering that service of you just pay them, let's say, a flat rate of whatever amount, then you've shopped in your house whatever you want to be cooked for, you perhaps prepare a menu, and they come and cook it for you, and you have your meals for the week if you're not trying to, I guess, indulge in unhealthy foods or something of the sort. So I just feel like that being an option, plus ordering in, plus I think also just coming from a point where I felt like growing up I did a lot of the cooking and everything, it's just not something that I now feel like I do from a point of liking and enjoying it. And also just come to that point of, in as much as I enjoy doing something, it doesn't really mean I have to do it all the time. So that's where we are at the cooking thing. Then I'm just feeling like, anyway, I don't want to get into that conversation, but SDAs, ladies might just get what I'm trying to imply. The next one is thinking. So thinking about my future a lot, and not even, I think, okay, honestly, yeah, to be honest, perhaps from a point of fear at times. Only because, okay, hear me out. I have conversations with people, and sometimes, you try to compare yourself with maybe your parents in terms of where your parents were when you are this age, and you're just wondering how did they do it. Because I think for a lot of us, and by us I mean maybe people around my age, at this point your parents are, probably married, they probably had you or your older siblings, and they had some property here and there, just things like that. And you just look at yourself and you're just like, wow, how is that possible? I think there's so many factors to consider. There are times, and I also do feel like our parents really had a credit culture. Because I do, like, or rather just from experience, like, you'd know, okay, maybe there's a loan being paid for and stuff like that, which maybe for people like me nowadays, maybe we don't really tap into credit as much, so maybe we're not able to have access to maybe certain things. And yeah, it's just still a recurring thought that like nikiangalia this timeline, I just don't know. I don't know if we are making it to the other side. And yeah, as I've said, it's just motivated by fear. And I mean, of course, this comparison thing and everything. But it's just something that sometimes is just, wow, such a present thought. And especially if you want to buy into that idea of giving yourself better than your parents did or doing better than they did, unaangalia to the time, you're like, I don't know, it seems like I still have a long way to go. So yeah, that's what I've been thinking about the future in a way that is motivated by fear. And yeah, I think I can admit that, honestly. Yeah. Another thing, looking. So I'm looking forward to traveling, most especially the second half of the year. And for me, I think that's something I was intentional about in planning my year. I was like, the first half of the year I want to do like as much as I can, then the second, travel as much as I can. And whatever that looks like, I don't know yet. Of course, I have my destinations in mind and everything, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I hope it will be possible. I hope there'll be resources to do it. And honestly, I can't wait. Like, I'm excited thinking about it. I'm really, really happy. Buying. So buying more perfume is definitely something that's on my mind. And I think I've mentioned it on just acting impulsively, but let me tell you, this Arab perfume TikTok, I don't know if it doesn't have you on a chokehold. I'm sorry, but it does. Like, it has me on chokehold, like, for real. I have a list of things that I'm like, immediately I need this perfume oils, I need these perfumes, I need them now. So yeah, like, buying perfume is definitely something that's in my near future plan. Like, by near future I mean even end of this month or something. And I think the good thing with, like, most of the Arabian perfumes are usually relatively affordable if you compare it to, like, okay, unless it's like maybe a niche house, but if you compare it to designer perfumes, they're actually pretty affordable. And then people really like perfume oils. I don't know personally if I enjoy using perfume oils just as is. I haven't really used perfume oil, like just perfume oil without anything. But what I like doing is just adding some drops of that oil into maybe a body oil that I use or a body lotion, and honestly, get on it. Like you'll thank me. Honestly, it's a life changer for me. Like, it's so good. Like, just try it. Like, if you like using like coconut oil or whatever oil that you're using, just add a few drops of your perfume oil. If it's also just body lotion, honestly, that's how I've been using perfume oils, and I just love it. I don't even, especially if you're like going to bed after, I feel like that's the ideal, because it will still like linger around and you just don't need to even spray perfume after that. All right, next is feeling. So I'm feeling off a bit, especially this week. Honestly, I just don't know what is in the air, but I just feel like like just things are not really flowing smoothly. And it's not that, you can identify like this bad thing that has happened. It's just I'm clashing, especially, let me just be specific, I'm clashing with someone who I wouldn't want to clash with. And it's not even, it's just that thing of, I get where they're coming from and maybe their frustration, but then I'm also like, I really wish I could communicate my frustration to you as well, but I feel like if I communicate my frustration, it just makes things worse. So I'm just in that point, I'm just like, okay, I'm letting it go, because it's like, things are going like this because maybe if you had done this and that, this would have been a bit clear for me. But I just know bringing that up will just make things go in a way that I don't want to, and especially because it's a sensitive period. So it's just that thing. I'm like, I hope I'm just being emotionally intelligent in dealing with the situation, but if I'm being honest, I would just love things to just be a bit smoother. Like, it's just such off energy that it's like, damn, like, wow. And I'm just like, really, I'm praying, like I've been praying this week and everything. So I'm just like, what is this weird energy? And then I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it could even be worse if I wasn't even just being very aware of it. So that's the situation. But I'm shooting this on Wednesday, so at least it's just tomorrow, then it's Friday, and then we can just get back to a different cycle, hopefully next week, honestly. Yes. So the other thing is appreciating conversations that I've been having with my friends of late, and mainly because it's been very wholesome. And also just there's been a lot of vulnerability, and I feel like for me that is just that one extra step in our friendship, which has been really nice to see. And because some of the things we've been talking about are like very painful and very hard, and also just things that I shy away from expressing, like vocally or just outright, because there are things you say and you just know they will shake people. But then I'm just like, to get to a point where I felt like it was okay in this situation and in this time to just express that I struggle with this, by the way, and I've been struggling with it for a while, and this is how it's manifesting, and it's coming, like, it's just breeding these feelings and emotions, and just maybe the crippling effect of it all. Like, honestly, I just couldn't believe it. Like, I just could not believe that for the first time I said, I'm struggling with this. And we just like had the conversation. There were tears and everything, but then I was just like, I really appreciated that I think we have gotten to this point in our friendship where I can be so open about something that is potentially so scary, and could sometimes like alter someone's view of you, no matter how much they love you or how close they are to you. So that's something I really appreciate. Coveting, this is always going to be recurring, but I'm coveting a Dior saddle bag. That is just the bag of my dreams. I remember the exact bag that I saw that I wanted, and I literally just saw it once and have never seen it again. And I just don't know if I'm just not good at searching on Google, but I've tried it. Like, Dior saddle bag with Dior print, this color. Like, I've tried to be specific, I've tried to be general and just scroll, but I've never seen it. But it was just a beautiful Dior saddle bag that looked like it might have had some maybe coarse texture, that also had some like floral pattern. It's such a beautiful bag. I mean, of course it costs a pretty coin, but it's just that something that I feel like I would really love to get it. I don't know why that bag has really intrigued me like that, but let me tell you, any opportunity I will get to have it, I will take it. Like, honestly, I really like that bag, so I'm always just coveting it. Like, sometimes I'm just there on my Pinterest just looking at them and I'm just like, oh my god, so beautiful. I think there's a time I even dreamt I had bought it, so let me just hope, you know, that dream comes true. Waiting on things to happen for you is honestly pretty hard. I just don't think we talk about how hard it is enough. We just really don't. And sometimes I know to a lot of my friends, I really wait positively, I would say, or like I really have tools that I think make the process bearable for me, in terms of whether it's just affirming myself, just remembering things that previously have worked out for me, just remembering I'm worthy of them, and just, you know, reminding myself not to settle and all these things. But honestly, that waiting period can be very hard, and especially, I think, honestly, we say, like, you know, there's no right time for anything and all these things, and while that is true, we do grow up, I believe, having those timelines set for us, even if it's subconsciously. They're just things that you've known, okay, this is the next step. Like, after you graduate, you get a job, but then you graduate, you don't get a job, and it's been 3 years. Now what? You know, what happens to you? Because that's what you have viewed as the, you know, typical normal flow of life, and then things just change, and then you perhaps get an opportunity here and there, but then there's still things that you're just feeling like you're not aligned to them, and you perhaps let them go. But then it's like, you know, should desperation just get the best of you and you just accept them, or do you just keep waiting for what is, you know, quote unquote for you, what's the right thing? Yeah, honestly, waiting is hard. And we need to be more honest about it, for real. And I think especially waiting in a season where it feels like you're alone and others are perhaps already in their receiving season and you're still waiting. Oh my days, it is hard. And I don't want to say I'm sorry for anyone who is waiting for something. Also add myself to that list. So next, I don't know what bookmarking on Twitter is the best thing to happen for me. But then also the way at which these updates are moving on Twitter, I'm honestly so scared that sometimes these things are going to be made public, and I'm just like, I bookmark because I feel very safe, because I know I'm the one who's going to access them. But then just the possibility that that could be open to the public, honestly, for me is very scary. And also, while we're on Twitter, yeah, like, I love Twitter. Perhaps could be my top social media platform, if I'm being honest. But let me tell you, I would not blink at having to leave it the way, like, with just the way things are going, in terms of just these updates. Like, you know, it's one thing, yes, to pay for verification, but it's another thing to pay for authentication. Like, why is a basic privacy tool something that I have to pay for? Like, I just don't get it. Like, that to me was just that thing. I was just like, what do you mean I have to pay to have my two-factor authentication on? Like, yeah, that is just, yeah, currently annoying me. I should have just say, yeah, annoying. Yeah, I'm just annoyed by that. But anyway, yes. Let me see which one I want to do next. Okay, liking the fact that I do have a new Instagram account, like a new page that I now want to 100% control. I feel like I fumbled that option with my Instagram account that I recently made public. So I mean, you can still follow me on the Ventura Kireki. I think there should be an underscore Ventura Kireki or something. So that was like my more personal page, and then I had Ventura Blogs on, like, as a public page, which I was like, okay, so maybe a lot of people who might want to interact with anything of mine could follow it. And then this private one, I was like, okay, maybe just limiting access to it. But then I just got to a point and I was just like, here I am with 300 and something followers, or 400 and something, and I'm just like, yeah, where did this go wrong? Like, just something I was like, no, my initial intention was to have this page where I felt very safe in terms of I know the people who are following me, and I am able to just express myself without any reservations. And granted that these other people, perhaps I know them and know of them because, you know, you're like, okay, I know this person, then maybe they post their friend, and then you see their friend, so their friend follows you, and it's like, okay, you perhaps haven't ever met their friend, but it's like, yeah, when someone mentions their name, you're like, yeah, I know her from social media, but I mean, you shouldn't probably be saying you know them. So it was, I feel like I was in that type of situation, and you know, you don't necessarily feel the same level of safety around like a huge number of people. Like, it's only very few people, so I'm just like, you know what, and the people I interact with, whatever. So I'm liking the fact that I have that, and I'm actually not afraid to just reject someone's request on that account, because my goal for me, I feel like realistically, I don't think I need beyond 30 people, because I think 30 is still like a lot, but it's still a very reasonable number for me. And okay, it might not be a lot because, you know, perhaps let's say you have that 3 friends from church, 4 friends from maybe your uni, maybe 2 from high school. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's a reasonable number for me. But yeah, I like the fact that I have that account, and I think I also like the fact that I really appreciate the power of choice. Like, for me, that I don't know, I just feel like I got to a point in my life, I'm just like, whether I could choose the life I want, I can choose to do this, I can choose not to do this, I can choose to start taking something seriously, I can choose to start doing this and that, I can choose to, I don't know, go into content creation full time. Like, just, it's so freeing, I think, allowing myself to choose. So that's also something I'm really liking my ability to, yeah, see that I have choice, the power to choose things and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let me see something else. Oh, I really think this video is going to be so long, but let's just see. Like, you know, there are like prompts that I'm just like, I don't know now what I can say in relation to this, but I don't, this is just something I want to mention, but then I'm just like, I don't know what I can do. Maybe let me say considering. So I was considering like going for this hike that, you know, my friend was like, okay, there's this nini, let's do it, whatever. So for me, at first, it was, I thought I was entertaining, I was considering like going for that hike, but then I was like, okay, this page have communicated like on certain terrains a bit and the difficulty and everything, and so I was wondering, okay, how difficult is this terrain? So of course my friend inquires and informs me that the person has said this is a like easy, you know, beginner level terrain. So I'm like, alright, but then I'm just like, you know what, let me just look up, and I'm like, okay, Miss Drikama, there's an alternative route, but it's like saying you're going to hike Mount Longonot or something. I think there's only one hiking route, right? So anyway, I checked said location where people are hiking, and I see that terrain, and I'm just like, this is what is being called beginner level. And I mean, and now I am certain I'm not going for it, but I think I need the beginner to the beginner level if I'm ever to do a hike, because I was like, that cannot be beginner level, or maybe I'm just way off the scales of these levels, because that thing looks so tough, like so tough. And I mean, first of all, the hike itself is 6 hours, meaning I guess, you know, 3 hours to maybe 3 hours for whatever. How is a beginner doing 3 hours going and coming? I just don't know, but I guess things are relative. But yeah, I was considering doing that hike, but I mean, I just saw it and I was just like, not me. I was already just picturing, because it's meant to be just end of the last weekend of April, and you know, Monday of course is a holiday because 1st May, and I was just already seeing myself not enjoying my holiday because I'd been in so much pain. I'm just like, will I even make it through the hike? Usually, like, if I go for these things, which I is not often, I like when at least there's someone who I know could help me out, because I'm that person who will stand after 1.5 hours and I'm like, I'm not going, by the way. So either someone is going to stay, or just someone can speak to me in a way that can motivate me to continue, because that person is not going to be me for myself. So yeah, I feel like I've been so passionate about just how hard it is to do certain things, honestly. But yeah, another one is listening. So I've been listening to this podcast called The Stoic Coffee Break. And I mean, stoic could be a term that maybe some people view as scary or whatever, but for me, what got me is just, it's pretty short. So I feel like for people who are not open to listening to like long podcasts, maybe you can give it a try, but then also understand that long can be relative. So maybe if I tell you that this podcast is between 8 minutes to 15 minutes, to you it could still sound a bit long, because I mean, there's a podcast I listen to that does not exceed 2 minutes. It's literally just that one thought, just delivered precisely, we are done. But for me, I think 8 to 15 minutes makes sense, and then just it's derived from that whole sense of it's something you can listen to while you're literally on a coffee break or a tea break or just something. So yeah, I like the Stoic Coffee Break because of the conversations around it. I feel like are very relevant. Have been very relevant to me, and I think sometimes I appreciate delivery that is just, I don't know, something that people could say monotonous or whatever, but then I like just something that just feels like I cannot tell the tone with which they're expressing themselves. I just like just that standard, this is the message, whatever, we are done. So yeah, I've really been enjoying listening to the Stoic Coffee Break podcast. And I mean, all these playlists that Spotify makes, because I don't know what Spotify knows about me, but they just do it so right. Like, it's just so right. Like, literally, I listen to a playlist that's been recommended, and I'm literally liking like almost all the songs in that playlist. So now, with time, I just go back to my liked songs, and I'm just so good to go, and like everything is just a banger, a winner. Like, I really, really like that. I think I might just do maybe 2 more. So I think I'll do wanting, and I don't know which one else will I do. Maybe enjoying. Yeah. So for enjoying, I'd say enjoying being in a schedule. I honestly am those people who thrive in just having a schedule and also being very busy, which is perhaps maybe strange, but I feel best when I am doing something and engaging, especially my mind. So I'm really enjoying the fact that that is my current situation, and just like, yeah, honestly, it's making me happy. And granted that because of how things are right now, I'm not able to show up on my social media as I'd love to. Like, even like Instagram, I'm just like, oh my god, the most I can do is just maybe repost something, but literally show up, sharing maybe a story or something. It's just not in my like priorities at the moment, but I'm really enjoying this other aspect of my life that is feeling like it's moving. So that's really, really nice. Wanting you to subscribe to my channel. Hello. Yeah, so please do it if you haven't already. I think I can add just maybe a few more prompts in like the comments or something, and maybe you can respond to some that I hadn't mentioned here, or even whatever I've mentioned. You can just, yeah, share with me how you feeling, how are things, like what are you noticing around you, just things along those lines. Yeah, so yeah, I've come to the end of this video. See you on the next one. Bye bye.